The best piece of advice that I ever got was, you can't be fat and mean.
Who the fuck gave you that piece of advice?
My mom.
I mean,
You knew that.
I knew that.
Welcome or welcome back. Sometimes, you know what? This might be your first time watching. And if it is, welcome.
That's very true. If this is your first episode of Tea Time,
You're late.
you're welcome. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Anything cool happened to you this week?
My wife bought a baseball cap and she decided to wear it today.
Do you like it?
Yep. I think it looks really good on you. And I like your pigtails the best.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, you put a hat on.
I had to.
I like your hat. What does it say? Have you been to Disneyland in Paris?
I have multiple times.
How is it? I've never been to Disneyland in Paris.
I have to say, Disneyland in Paris's rides smack for me. They are fire.
They're
I
different
like
than
them.
American?
They're different than American rides, and yeah, I really like it. It's a smaller park,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
I was not a theme park kid really growing up, so it's not really like in my body. And I know you don't really love going.
Yeah, I went to a lot and I performed it a lot throughout my childhood.
But I'm wondering if we did like Disneyland Paris or Disneyland Japan, would you be more inclined to go with me?
Most
'Cause it's
definitely, because
out of
I've
the country?
it's out of the country, and especially Japan. I haven't been to Disneyland Japan, but I would also like to go to the theme parks in those countries that aren't necessarily from Disney. I think witnessing other cultures' ways of fun and excitement and recreation bring me more joy than going to Six Flags over and over and over again, and I've experienced it from behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and all the rides. I love attractions.
You love an attraction.
I love an attraction.
We recently were driving in LA, and the Slime Museum, that kind of feels
I
like an
wanna do
attraction.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why we're married, because
Yeah.
we kind of want to do the same things.
Yeah, we want to do things that either extremely old people want to do or extremely young people want to do.
We want to like veg on the couch.
I want to go to the balloon museum.
Oh, we want to put our hand in that pot and tell us what we're talking about.
Oh, you could do it, babes. Today on Tea Time, we are talking about
Da, 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 da. Advice.
like that we have for people or that we've received or just in gins.
Both. I have these nifty cards, and I'll ask you a question.
Oh no, my wife got cards. We're
Who's-
official now.
We're super official. No official person who has cards also calls out the cards as much as I've called out the cards.
At all.
They're supposed to be here as like an invisible thing. Baby, who is your go-to person for advice?
I don't think I have a go-to person for advice. I think I choose someone in my roster that I know might have gone through a situation or that I know would have sound advice in a situation. I don't have a go-to person for everything.
Same. I don't think that I really have a go-to person. It's situational. It depends on like what's happening, what the conversation is,
Yeah.
and then I kind of assess and figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice that I ever got was, you can't be fat and mean.
Who the fuck gave you that piece of advice?
My mom.
I mean,
You knew that.
I knew that.
Can't be fat and mean. You have to be
So you can be skinny and mean.
be skinny and mean,
Or
and
fat and happy.
and fat and happy. But you can't be fat and mean. All right, Mom. So
Care to expand?
no, and I didn't care to ask to expand. I think it's very self-explanatory.
Correct. So you got nicer. I guess that's what that
No, I
means.
got skinny.
Oh, you got skinnier. Shit. Fuck. Sorry. That's rude.
I got skinnier so that I didn't have to shave.
Oh my God, babes. Any other pieces of advice?
No, that one trumps it all. No. Another piece of advice is to treat everybody with kindness. And it's such a general advice, but especially in my industry, I will expand on this. It's like, you need to treat the person who takes out your trash just as nice as the person who signs your check.
Yes.
Period.
100%.
What about you? What's the best piece of advice that your mother has given you?
My mother.
Yes.
If you've ever been lost abroad or badly needed an internet connection with no Wi-Fi spot in sight, you'll understand what a difference a local SIM card can make. And luckily, you have Saley. So, what's Saley, you ask?
Well, it's a new eSIM service app brought to you by the creators of NordVPN. All you have to do is download it once. That's right, only once. There's affordable prices, global and regional plans, up to 190 countries and 8 regions. It saves you time. You don't have to wait in line at the airport to get a local SIM card.
Scams are avoided, your privacy is protected, you can stay connected because there's no more wandering around looking for a public Wi-Fi spot. With an eSIM, you're always connected.
And the best part, 24/7 support. And you can get a full refund if your device isn't eSIM compatible.
That's incredible. And that's why I'm also really excited to announce that we're giving our listeners at Tea Time a discount code.
All you have to do is go to saley.com/teatimepod to get 15% off.
That's saley.com/teatimepod for 15% off.
What about you? What's the best piece of advice that your mother has given you?
My mother.
Yes.
To shut up.
Did you ever take that advice?
I never no. I guess it can't be the best if you don't take it. That's correct. Actually, my mom has given me a lot of good advice. My mom and my sister both have. And my dad has too, actually. I feel like when I am in an emotional spiral, or if I'm having relationship woes, my mom is really, really good. Mostly because she scares the shit out of me and then it gets me back in line. I think that because my mom had her experience of being married and then having her marriage end, she has a lot of ability to look back and see where she had wishes that she had done things differently. So if you and I are having an argument or something and I go and I vent to her about it, and it has to escalate to a certain point between you and I for me to outreach, number one. But if I do, it's often because I am looking for somebody not to sympathize with me, but to tell me where I'm missing something. I want somebody to give me constructive criticism. I want to hear this is why this isn't working right now, or this is the perspective shift you need. And my mom is really good at doing that for me. And she'll be able to say you have to remember that this is what happens in a marriage, or this is the give and take, or this is how you compromise. And because my mom knows me well and my sister knows me well, they can give me sound advice from their experience of me. And I think that as well as I feel I might know myself in situations, it doesn't seem to matter when it is in a dynamic with another person, because how people receive you. And especially I feel like if you get the same feedback of more than one person is receiving you a certain way, it probably means you have to sit down and check yourself.
Yeah, most definitely.
I am often the person that people come to for advice. I feel like people will call me and ask me. A lot of my friends seek my advice. My ability to give advice doesn't necessarily come from lived experience, but it comes from being really good at understanding people and motivation, and really good at listening, and really good at being able to say to a friend, I see where your struggle is, or I see that you're right now freaking out about, talking to your boss, and you're afraid of talking to your boss because you're afraid that they might fire you. And let's say that they do fire you. Then you're fired from a job that you really dislike, and then you have room to go do something you want to do. That's the kind of conversation I'll have. And then they're like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't.
So you're a good observer. You watch things from afar, take all of the pieces that they're giving you, and are able to regurgitate to them what is actually being played on the chess table, instead of someone who's clouded because their emotions are taking over.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So. Yeah.
Why do you think advice is always from the elders? Why do you think that we take advice from elder people? And people are going to be like, obviously, because they're older, they've experienced so much. Do you feel like you can get advice from somebody younger?
I definitely do. I think that there is most definitely advice that comes from lived experience and just time. The more that you are on earth, the more that you live, the more people you meet, the more conversations you have, the more experiences, you are able to impart more wisdom, if you will. But there are some old folks who are stupid as shit, who don't evolve, who don't grow, and who are stuck in their ways, and then are trying to impart their own ideas or ways of being on younger generations that don't resonate with the things that they're saying because the times have changed. So I think it is twofold. And I think you can get advice from someone younger than you for sure.
Yeah, and like kind of what you were saying. I feel like sometimes when you do get advice from someone that's a little bit grayer older on the fringes, they are purely giving you, and this is any advice to be 100. They're purely getting advice from someone from their perspective.
Always.
And what they went through.
Yep.
And even good advice can be bad advice for some people because it depends on the circumstance. It depends on things. And, someone can say, make sure you look both ways before you cross the street. And that advice might not work for somebody who's blind.
Well, that's why I said the thing about my mom, that sometimes her advice, she freaks me out, right? And then it puts me back in line. What I also meant by that is the deeper layer to it is she is projecting her own experience onto me, and her own experience scares me, and therefore it makes me go, okay, just, suck it up, Miranda, or get over it. But that is 100%. That's what happens when people offer advice, which is why I think it's important to have people in your life that you respect or that are in that lane that you're going to.
Or at the life place that you want to be at.
Yes.
There too. You get a lot of advice from your parents when you're growing up, and some parents they're rebellious, they don't listen, and this and that. And I know my parents were very, very active in making sure that I did not repeat the same mistakes they did. So I had to listen to their advice without, fail. And to this day, I'll come up in certain situations and I'll remember the quote unquote advice. And I'm like, that doesn't match now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't match anymore. And it's not because they were wrong. It's just because they went through that experience in the 70s and I'm going through it in 2025.
Yeah.
And it's extremely different. So
it is. And I think this is a perfect segue into the next segment of this conversation, which is where we are being asked to offer advice from our audience.
Love it. I love giving advice.
From some of you guys. So
let me tell you what to do.
Let's get into it. What is the best way to cut someone off that you have had a 15-year history with?
Ooh.
Let's see if we can help.
Oh, I'd love to help. Well, first, I can't ask you and you can't answer, but if you're in the comments, I'm going to give you two kinds of advice. One, if you were in an intimate relationship, and then one if you weren't in an intimate relationship, right?
Sure.
Intimate relationship of 15 years, how to cut them off. You get a lawyer.
And not intimate?
I think what you say to someone that's not intimate, that you want to cut off, that you've had a relationship for 15 years, I'm this person. I'm just going to stop texting. And if they say, what's up? Be like, I think our season is over. But I'm also mean.
You are mean.
So.
Yeah, you have a mean streak for sure. I think that if I had to cut somebody off after a 15-year relationship, I would have a conversation, regardless of it being intimate or not intimate. I would sit that person down and I would explain my reasons clearly. I would also have, before cutting someone off, I would have had several attempts prior to the cutoff to say to a person, I don't think it's fair to just cut somebody off point blank. I think that you have to inform somebody what isn't working for you, and you have to offer attempts and work at that relationship to see if change can happen, because it always takes two to tango. So if something's not working for you, then you're probably not doing something that is showing up for that person in that way. So you have to be aware. And so if you've reached a point where after 15 years, this is just not working and you've tried everything else, I think you sit down and you have a really honest conversation and you lay out what hasn't changed, why it's not working, and that you have to set this boundary now.
You're so kind. I wouldn't be able to go through that conversation with you. If you set me down and we were just friends and it's been 15 years and you're like, listen, I don't want to be friends anymore, I'll be like, okay, bye. Like I would leave. I'd be like, I'm not trying to have this conversation with you because I need to go through my feelings myself. So I need to get better.
I hear you. I am a bisexual male, but I'm not out because it's not received well by gay or hetero people. I feel like it also ruins my chances with women and some men if I'm out. Is it okay to just be me and not label myself without getting accused of self-hate? My sexuality belongs to me. Can it just be that simple?
Oh, we'd hope so, right?
My answer is yes. I don't think that you have to explain your sexuality to anyone. That is your personal business. I think that if you find yourself getting into a more involved relationship with somebody, let's say like you're settling down a little bit and you're liking somebody, I think that it's fair for you to then say to that man or that woman, hey, heads up, I've dated men in the past, I've dated women in the past, I find myself just attracted to humans when I'm attracted to humans. But I don't think from the get-go you have to be, hey, I'm bi.
Yeah, we live in a really weird world right now where we need labels in order to categorize people. And if you don't know what label you are, people don't know where to put you. And sadly, you can just be you and you can not label yourself. But as soon as you get in a relationship and as soon as the real you starts to seep in, you then will have to categorize yourself. And it's sad because that's just the way the world works. If we were in the utopia that I know I live in every day in my brain,
Yeah.
you don't. I'm not gay. My wife's not gay. We're just humans who are in love with other humans. There's no actual title that we have. Bisexual people, like, what does that actually look like? I know before I knew that I was a full-blown old lesbian, I dated men and women, but I knew that I wanted to be married to a woman. And when I was with guys, I'm like, I want to be with a woman, right? And I was like, if I had to be with a guy and a female at the same time, what would that look like? I'm emotionally better with a woman, and I'm physically better than when I'm with a woman. I think bisexual people, like, maybe it's just the sexual part and not the emotional part. You just find where you stand. Maybe you're...
So to answer the question, do you feel like the person does, in fact, then have to say
I think that if
they're bisexual?
I think that if you want a true relationship with someone, they need to know all of you, but I don't think you have to start the relationship that way unless you want to. But I do eventually feel like, yes, you're going to have to explain
So we're on the same
who
page.
you are.
Got it. How do you handle friendships that are not reciprocated?
Gotta go.
I'm with you on that one. It's hard. It's hard to say the gotta go, and I've had so many it's hard for me.
No, that's not difficult.
I've had so many friendships that haven't been reciprocated to the level to which I think I'm giving, but I have two pieces of advice for that. One, if you truly know that that person is not carrying their weight, bye. But if you have expectations of a person that might be out of whack, like you are expecting too much from that friend, make sure that you assess that in yourself.
Because I'm that friend. Like, every friend of mine knows that I disappear.
Yep.
And I might not text every day. I might not text in 3 months. But if you call me, I answer. If you need me, I'm there. And sometimes I'll be like, what up? And I'm always there for them in a good mood, and I'm always there for advice. But I'm not that friend that texts every day and asks what's up. I do that in relationships. I used to do that with friends when I was younger, and it made me drained.
Yeah, you don't have
I got drained.
space.
I don't have a lot of energy for a lot of people, and I got a lot of people that I know.
Yep.
And I save my energy. So I think that you, like you said, expectations, know who you are, because if you do have a friend that is, you know, not carrying their weight, they must got weight somewhere else that they're carrying.
Yeah.
From someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we could probably say from all of these questions, the overarching theme is don't make assumptions, don't personalize.
It's not about you.
And be more curious into the experience of the other person to try and figure out your answers.
Yeah. Most definitely.
We're so good at giving advice.
Like, this is amazing.
I really hope this helped you guys, babes.
It's like Ask Judy type
Let's
shit.
toast.
Snap toast.
I'm Judy. Today, we are toasting to Adam Simmons, who opened a restaurant that employs those who've experienced homelessness.
Yes, Adam.
Yes, and Adam is also a Michelin star-winning chef
Yes.
who has just opened a new restaurant in Primrose Hill, which is in
London.
Yes.
I did it right.
Good job, baby. It's called Home Kitchen. And everyone who works there has been unhoused or homeless at a time in their life.
Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you don't have any talent, doesn't mean you don't have any ambition.
Yep.
And sometimes it's really difficult to live in society.
He's opening 2 more and another one in the UK and then one in San Francisco.
They need it in San
They
Fran.
totally need it in San Fran.
They need it in San
And I think it's really great that he has recognized that there is a population of people that are strong, talented, can work hard, and that they can find purpose in an environment that can be as healing as a kitchen. Because a lot of people who find themselves in some kind of struggle or some kind of confusion in their life end up in kitchens. Got a lot of sober people, a lot of, lost people.
Food
in
feeds
kitchen.
the soul, though,
Yeah.
right? You have two brains, your stomach and your actual brain. And food, I know when you eat, mom is like, are you feeling okay? I'm in a bad relationship. Here's a cookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you
it's
feel
comforting.
sick, you need food. So I love that he's doing that. Well done, Adam. Hey, what's on the menu? We're gonna come support when you come to San Fran.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, babes. Well, this has been fun. I hope you all enjoyed getting some advice from us.
Hey, if you want any other advice, don't forget to leave the advice in the comments down below.
Don't forget to follow, rate, and review Tea Time wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to Raven and Miranda on YouTube for video episodes. And our extended versions are
Wherever you get your podcasts.
bye.